Hey, my name is Marshall Sparkman. I'm a mortgage loan officer here at Franklin Synergy Bank, and one of the areas that I specialize in is new construction loans or custom home loans. And I wanted to do a quick video to kind of inform you on what to expect throughout the process. I get a lot of people ask me, and I do I give the same spiel every time, and it's very important that you're educated on the process if you're looking to buy a new house. It can save you a ton of money, it can save you a lot of time and a lot of heartache. So I wanted to go through, I made a list of 8 things that I want to discuss. So if you're considering buying a new home, this is a absolute 100% must listen to, especially if you're going to be financing it. So the transcript will be provided in the link here. But new construction is so much fun. It's a blast. The first thing that I tell people is enjoy the process. It's fun to get to pick out everything and pick out the floor plans and exactly what's going to go where and what color and what kind of floors. I mean, there's so many decisions that have to be made. And it's almost a lot of people get information overload. It's like information paralysis. My wife and I, when looking to build our house, gets on the Pinterest. It's like the worst idea ever. Don't ever let anybody get on Pinterest, okay? There's way too many decisions out there. I usually tell people the best way to do it is find a house that you like, that you've been into, that you love, and build that same house. Because to go through and build a custom house, there's so many decisions to be made, but not to stop you from doing that, but just be prepared. So let's talk about the first things first, picking the floor plans. All right, so number one, if you can get lucky and find a set of floor plans online that you just love, it's the fastest, best, cheapest way to do it. Or the other option is you could work with a local architect or a home designer. Working with a home designer, you can plan on spending anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 to get a floor plan, or even more if it has some elaborate features. And also, you can plan on your architect taking 1 to 3 months to completing that. The second step before you pull the trigger on having an architect draw up the plans is you need to meet with a builder to discuss the feasibility. So get a couple of ideas together that you like, take your plans to the builder and say, hey, I kind of like this house. I'm thinking about this. What are your thoughts? What is that going to cost me? What is how long is it going to take? Is it going to fit on my lot? If you already own a lot, you need to make sure that house is going to actually fit on that lot. Or if you don't have a lot, you need to take the lot and the house plans have to match together. So if you pick the house of your dreams and then you find a lot of your dreams, those two may not go together. So you need to make sure that you're marrying the two, and your builder will help you through that. Do not go to do not go to an architect before you go to a builder. That is a classic mistake that I've seen people make. Number 3 is identify the lot. So now that you've got an idea on the house that you want to build and about how much it's going to cost, you need to identify the lot. If you already own a lot, cool, you're a step ahead. So you need to think about things such as you need to do a feasibility study. How much is it going to cost to excavate the lot? How much dirt are you going to have to bring in? How much gravel? You're going to have to cross a creek. Do you already have utilities there? Are you going to have to cut down a bunch of trees to bring in a power line, or are you going to run it underground? Is there a bunch of rock that you're going to have to blast through to run utilities underground? There's so many things that you need to consider with considering the lot. And probably the biggest thing that you need to consider with your lot is going to be your septic system. If you get lucky and find a property that already has a perk site designated, make sure that you have it in writing from the county. Don't just take their word for it, and don't look at the realtor remarks on RealTracs that says this property's been perked. You need the actual approval from the county, which you can pick up from the county, that states how many bedrooms it's perked for. If it's not been perked yet, you can plan on that process taking 3 to 4 plus months. My advice is there's very small number of people who do it here locally. Here in Rutherford County, we have the soils group that does it. With my farm, it took us over a year to get all of our soil work. It was complicated, but that's normal and typical for this area. Just plan on, if it doesn't have soil, if it doesn't have the soil work already drawn up on it, just plan on that taking some time. And by the way, you probably need to own the property before you go and doing all that. Or if you haven't closed on it yet, you need to negotiate with the sellers for you to go ahead and get all the perk sites drawn up, because you don't want to go buy a piece of land that doesn't have adequate soil that the state is going to approve you building on. I've seen people do that, and it comes back to bite you. Now you've spent $100,000+ on a piece of land that's completely worthless. You're just going to be hunting and riding four-wheelers on it. Not an ideal situation. So let's talk about lot loans. So you've got two options with the loan. You can buy the lot and then sit on it, or you can buy the lot and immediately get a construction loan. Typically, we want to keep the construction loans around 12 months, ideally. So 12 months gives you enough time to buy the lot, get your plans drawn, and let the builder start and finish the project. So if you want to, let's talk about the construction loan next. So just know with a lot loan, you can either buy the lot and start building immediately, or you can buy it and sit on it for a while. The interest rates on the lot loan will vary depending on the length of time that you're going to hold the loan. So if you plan on doing a short-term loan, you only want it for 12 months, you're probably going to be in the 5.5% range is what the rates going for now. If you want to hold the lot for 5 years, you may be up at 6.5%. That's kind of the going rates today. Rates change on a regular basis. So let's talk about the construction loan real quick. So the first step in the construction loan process is we have to approve you for the permanent mortgage. So your 30-year or 15-year fixed mortgage. First thing is I need to approve you for that. I need to make sure that you're good for the money there, because we don't want to loan you a temporary short-term loan for 12 months and then come to find out you don't qualify for your permanent mortgage. Then you're screwed, right? You're in a bad situation. So I'm going to take a full loan application. I'm going to collect all the documents from you up front. I'm going to run you through my underwriter, and we're going to have you fully approved, stamped, signed off on for your permanent mortgage. Then we're going to talk to the construction lender, and we're going to start talking through all the details of the construction loan. Also, it's very important when we start this process, do not change any of your finances. Don't go buy a new car. Don't start transferring money from other accounts. Don't lose your job. These are basics, right? I say that, but it happens so often. I can't reiterate enough. Do not do anything to jeopardize or change your financial situation during the construction process, okay? It never, ever ends well. So the next step is we're going to get together and we're going to go over all the numbers. Typically, you will find how this works is we're going to take your plans, your specs, your costs from the builder, plus the lot that you want. We're going to take all those things and we're going to hand them off to an appraiser. We're going to say, hey, how much is this worth? And then the appraiser is going to come back with a value. Typically, we like to loan up to 80% of the appraised value, up to 100% of the cost. So I've got some clients that build in a new house. I've got one right now. His house appraised at $1 million. He only needed $800 to build it, so he got 100% loan. He didn't have to put any money down. Can you believe that you can build $1 million house without any money down? It's crazy, but it is what it is. So new construction loans are based off the appraised value, the subject to appraised value. So subject to this house being completed. Let's see here. If something pops up during the construction process, which it very commonly does, you can get more money if needed. It's not the most desirable scenario, but if you need to go over 80%, we can typically figure out a way to make that happen, okay? Construction loans themselves, once you've picked your floor plans and got a contract with your builder and we've got an appraisal on it, those typically take about 30 days to close. Some can take longer depending on the appraisal, but it typically takes about 30 days to close. I've had clients take years to pick out floor plans and years to pick out their lot. And I've had other clients come to me and within a week, they already have the house picked out, the cost from the builder, and they know the lot that they want. So the timeline is completely up to you and how prepared and how motivated and ready you are really to pull the trigger. Let's see. So okay. So the first draw, how this works is construction loans are interest only. The interest that you pay will be based on the amount that you have drawn up until that point. For example, the first draw on a construction loan is typically the largest. What that means is the builder is going to request enough money typically to purchase the lot, to go in and do any excavation work, to rough in a driveway, to possibly get utilities run, to dig your footer, to pour your foundation. Also, typically your lumber package, the builder's got to get paid, so he's typically going to want to get paid by the first draw, and he may also include some labor for your framing and everybody else. So your first draw is typically anywhere between 80 to 120,000 plus, depending on the size of the house. So your first payment is going to be the interest for the first draw, and as your payments go along, your monthly payment will get larger and larger based on the amount that you have drawn through the process so far. A general rule of thumb we use is 60% of the total amount. So for example, if you're borrowing, just for easy numbers, if you're borrowing $1 million, your payment is going to be based on 60% of that, right? So that just gives you a general rule of thumb on what you're going to need to spend on your monthly payments. And my computer just timed out and kicked me out, so I had to log back in. Sorry. The typical process with construction loans takes 4 to 8 months to complete. That's typical. Some are done faster, some are done slower. I've had some take over a year. And so don't ever make concrete plans based on a certain closing date. They never, ever, ever happen, okay? I don't know that I've ever had a new construction loan close on time when everybody hoped it would originally. It never happens. Weather pops up, permits pop up, the county pops up, rocks pop up. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens. So don't plan on a certain closing date. Do not put yourself in that predicament where you have to close by a certain date, okay? Because it rarely ever happens. So one of the biggest things is once you make your plans, don't make any changes. That's one of the biggest things. It's going to cost you a ton of money. It can cost you a ton of time and makes the process extremely stressful. Once you pick out your floor plans, the little change as possible, the better. It's going to make for a really smooth process. And again, like I said, enjoy the process. If you're one to freak out very easily, you're going to need to hide your ugly through this process, okay? Because it seems like the ugly comes out, and it's a very stressful process having to make all the decisions under a timeline, and you're paying money, and there's a lot going on. And the last piece of advice here I have is expect setbacks. They happen 100% of the time. You're going to find rock. You're going to have running a cost that you didn't expect. It's all completely normal, and it's part of the process. It's just the way it goes. So expect the unexpected. Just be nice and be cool, be professional and cordial with your builder, and just work through everything. Work with me. We're going to walk you through the process, and we're going to work with you throughout. So hopefully this 12-minute video was educational. I am absolutely available to answer any other questions. When you come to me, the things you're going to need to know are about how much you're going to want to borrow, what you're thinking it's going to appraise for, have a lot picked out, have floor plans picked out, and then I can talk you through actual numbers. But coming to me without numbers, just spitballing, I'm hoping I covered most of those questions here in this video. But if I didn't, feel free to reach out and give me a shout, and I'm here for you guys. Thanks.